One of the most major elements throughout the Zelda series is time. Games like Ocarina of Time and Skyward Sword use this feature extensively, and Majora's Mask is built entirely around a 3-day concept of time. And by looking at what we've seen so far of the game, it's very possible that Zelda Wii U will feature a day and night cycle that lasts a minimum of 8 real-world hours, perhaps even a 1-to-1 ratio 24-hour time system. I'm Zeltik, and I'm joined today by Commonwealth Realm to show you the evidence supporting and the implications of the most extensive day and night cycle of any Zelda game to date. Games today are getting bigger and bigger and are simulating real life better and better. Games like Grand Theft Auto 5 have an obsessive amount of attention to detail simulating the real world, such as clothes getting wet up to the point where they were submerged, and of course we can't forget the incredible advancements in bathroom simulation over the years.
This is taking forever. Time to stop pissing around and get this big guy back into action.
Humanity's come a long way, hasn't it? There's a lot of stuff that isn't perfect in this world, but at least our virtual toilets have virtual turds. And you can do this.
No, what am I doing? Why am I doing this?
Moving on. So, with games often trying a little too hard to simulate real life, we of course are now pretty accustomed to having a day and night cycle in our games, especially open world ones. Time, even though it royally fucks up the timeline with the inclusion of time travel, is an extremely prominent feature of the Zelda series. Every 3D console Zelda to date has had a continuous time system, with the exception of the linear Skyward Sword. But what we've seen so far of Zelda Wii U is fundamentally very different to the 2011 title, and so I don't think it's a stretch by any means to expect a cycle like the one introduced in Ocarina of Time. Just maybe a little bit longer, eh Nintendo? 12 seconds per hour, what is this, Mario time? Well, there's definitely variation in the time of day in Zelda Wii U, as if we didn't expect it. The gameplay footage shows sunset, midday, and what appears to be late afternoon too. And an interesting detail during this Game Awards footage is this, an in-game clock showing 1900 hours or 7 PM. Now, first I'm just going to clear up the little misconception that this is a real-world clock showing the time on the Wii U system. This clip was likely filmed during the winter of 2014, as it was apparently added last minute to the Game Awards. And here we can see presumably an external window, judging from the brightness of it and what I assume to be trees. And I don't know what winters you're used to, but this doesn't look like a winter 7 PM to me. But the sunset we see in the game fits 7 PM perfectly, so it's a fair assumption that this clock is measuring game time. Now here's the interesting bit. I'm pretty sure that based on what we've seen so far, which of course could all change, in Zelda Wii U we will be met with a minimum, yes, minimum, of an 8-hour day and night cycle. Yeah, that's 10 times the length of the cycle present in Grand Theft Auto 5, and 5 times the cycle in Witcher 3. How did I find this out? Well, I timed this little sequence here with the gamepad. This clock is visible for just over 19 seconds without changing. Now, of course there are a few possible explanations for this, like GameXplain pointed out in their analysis. Either the clock changes in larger increments than we expect, such as every hour, the developers paused the game before checking the map, or time simply flows a lot slower in this game than in any other Zelda before it. The first explanation is plausible, but it does seem a little odd that we see the military time 24-hour clock format with minutes present if the clock only changes every hour, and considering Majora's Mask 3D was developed alongside Zelda Wii U, and its in-game clock counts minutes, it'd be odd if the home console cinematic Ultimate Zelda doesn't do this. I don't believe the developers paused the game either. I've gone through the footage frame by frame, and looking at Aonuma's hands there is no evidence that they paused the game at all. So the third option is the only realistic choice. Time simply flows a lot slower in this game, and this is a good thing. Since we could see the unchanging clock for over 19 seconds, it's possible to predict that Zelda Wii U's time could be one of a few options. One option is 3 times the speed of a normal minute, so 1 Zelda minute per 20 real-world seconds, which would mean the clock was 1 second away from changing to 9:01 before the video cuts back to the TV. This would result in an 8 real-hour day and night cycle. Another possibility is that Zelda Wii U's time moves at double real-world time, so 1 Zelda minute per 30 real seconds. This would result in a 12-hour day and night cycle. And yet another possibility is that Zelda Wii U could actually run in real time, e.g. 1 Zelda minute per 1 real-world minute. This could potentially be supported by an interesting quote from Miyamoto. He is quoted as saying this during his interview with YouTuber iJustine. But what we're trying to do is design it in a way that you don't necessarily have to sit down and play it for a super long time, but kind of more matched to today's lifestyle, where you can think for a little bit and say, oh, I just want to play for a little bit today and do this one thing and get that done and take a break. Perhaps what Miyamoto is referring to here is a gameplay style where you can drop in at certain times to get something specific done. This could potentially mean that the game time changes even when you're not playing, and you may choose to plan when to play Zelda in order to get certain timed events completed. There's actually further evidence for this extensive cycle. Over the 1 minute and 23 seconds of the opening scene of the gameplay, the sunset doesn't actually change, and we even cut from the sailcloth to a setting nearby where Epona is shown off, and it's still sunset. Yeah, I think the days are going to be long in this game. This all implies that the day and night cycle in this game really is extensive. We see many different times throughout the footage, but this is because of the jump cuts. So from all this, we can determine that Zelda Wii U's time will likely be a maximum of 3 times faster than the real world clock. But what does this mean for the gameplay? I'm joined by Conrad from the Commonwealth Realm to discuss the possible implications of this potentially extensive day and night cycle.
With the possibility of such an extensive cycle in Zelda Wii U, options to manipulate time will be mandatory. Luckily, the Zelda series doesn't shy away from this at all. We have seen a multitude of songs such as the Song of Passing and Sun's Song, which will serve to switch between day and night, and if there are potential hours of real world time between day and night in Zelda Wii U, this will be completely necessary. In Majora's Mask, for instance, the Song of Time and Song of Double Time also serve to manipulate time, but important as this is in the game, it depends most on the time as a gameplay feature. You can speed up time up to the time of a certain event, and of course reverse it to avoid the cataclysmic event of the moon crashing to the ground. And speaking of ways to change the in-game time, from what we have seen of Link in this game, he actually has what appears to be a mat present on Epona's back. It can be theorized that this mattress could be used to set up camps and sleep to pass time, similar to how sleeping in Skyward Sword transitions between day and night. There are a lot of things that will benefit from this in Zelda Wii U. We saw how NPCs in Majora's Mask had a schedule of events that they would carry out over the 3 days, and perhaps this is something that Zelda Wii U will follow up on, considering how it was developed alongside Majora's Mask 3D. A proper schedule for NPCs will allow the player to get to know them, the ins and outs of their lives, and this will again lead to more dynamic and involving side quests. Perhaps certain quests or interactions are only available at a certain time or on a certain date, or maybe some missions are at all time. We have actually seen a real-time mechanic before in Zelda, in Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. For example, certain items are only available at certain times, such as Masked Beetle only showing up from 10 to 12 AM on weekdays and 10 to 12 PM on weekends. Certain elements of the world changing with the time and setting is a feature that we are seeing more and more in current games. CD Projekt Red's latest epic, The Witcher 3, for example, boasts an interesting system, and it functions this way. We have put a lot of effort into seamlessly blending gameplay with the surrounding environment. Monster behavior and tactics change depending on the time of day and terrain. It's these shifting circumstances that will often determine if you are hunter or prey.
Thanks Conrad, and I agree. With an advanced time system in Zelda Wii U, this is something I certainly hope we'll see. This will allow you to plan journeys based on the time, and like how Numa says, the puzzle solving begins the minute the player starts thinking about where they want to go, how they'll get there, and what they'll do when they arrive. It's an interesting dynamic to not only have to think about the direction and route, but also the time. So overall, having this advanced time mechanic present in Zelda Wii U will add a lot of depth not only to the immersiveness and realism of the world, but also the gameplay and puzzle solving. It's pretty clear that time will play a big part in the new title, as the clock appears to be permanently present on the gamepad. It'll help the new depiction of Hyrule really feel like a living, breathing world, and who knows, maybe Zelda Wii U's exploration of how time can be made to work in games will be as, no pun intended, game-changing as some of the other mechanics the Zelda series has introduced. Zelda Wii U is following the footsteps of some of the giants in the gaming world. The original, as Miyamoto said, aimed to provide gamers with a miniature garden they could keep in their drawer. And I hope Zelda Wii U captures the essence of a living world and successfully translates the beauty and character of the Zelda universe into a truly fantastic environment, accompanied with the ultimate incarnation of one of the franchise's most popular themes, time. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please check out the partner video over on Commonwealth Realm's channel, which is an episode of his Zelda Unknown series, where we look at the potential for the inclusion of Kakariko Village in Zelda Wii U. If you did like this video, please leave a like and subscribe, it really helps, and also subscribe to Commonwealth Realm if you haven't done already. Cheers guys, and I'll see you next time.